my name is Kat, and today I'm doing my September wrap-up. So I'm actually pretty proud of what I managed to read in September because I got through my entire TBR, kind of. I am still reading Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo and Library of Souls by Ransom Riggs, but these came out toward the end of the month, so I'm not too upset that I haven't finished them yet. I'm only like 50 pages into each one, but I am bringing this as my plane read for when I go to Atlanta, Georgia for the Library of Souls event this weekend, and this is the October book of the month for Booksplosion, so reading it in October is a-okay. But aside from those two that I'm currently reading, I managed to finish 6 books. And it's no surprise what those 6 books are because they're the ones I talked about in my TBR. I'm rhyming, help me. So first up, I have here Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. This is the 4th book in the Throne of Glass series, and I read this 700-page book in one day. I bought the ebook right at midnight and I started reading it, and I was up until like 6 a.m. getting through the first half of it, and then I woke up the next evening, and powered through the second half of it. And I'm not going to talk too much about this book because it is in the middle of a series, and also I put up a 20-minute discussion video about this book, so I'll link that down below if you want to watch it and hear more of my thoughts. But I absolutely loved this book. It's probably my favorite of the year so far, and I thought it was wonderful. Then I have here The Copper Gauntlet by Holly Black and Cassandra Clare. This is the 2nd book in the Magisterium series, so I'm not going to talk a whole lot about the plot, but basically it's about a boy who goes to a magic school, and the authors are well aware of the inevitable Harry Potter comparisons, so even knowing that, they keep you on your toes, and they flip your expectations around. Now, I didn't like this book quite as much as the first one, but I did still enjoy it. The thing I'm loving the most about this series is that I never know what to expect. The books never end in the place I thought they would. I'm just consistently very pleasantly surprised by this series, and I'm really looking forward to the next installment. Then I have here Saga Volume 5 by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. If you watched my wrap-up for last month, then you might know that I'm kind of obsessed with Saga. It's so good! It's so good! The story is fantastic, the art is beautiful, the world is so cool and interesting, and just I love it, I love it. I gave volumes 1 through 4 5 stars each, and this was no different, 5 stars. I think if I had to choose, either volume 2 or 3 would be like my ultimate favorite, but I've loved all of them, and I love how the story is progressing, and it's such a good comic series. I have to recommend it to everyone. I mean, maybe not children or people who are sensitive to language and violence and sex, because this has it all, but I love that stuff, so I love this. Then I have here The Martian by Andy Weir. You've probably already heard about this book because the movie adaptation is about to come out and it looks magnificent. This is a sci-fi novel about an astronaut who gets left behind on Mars, and he has to figure out how to survive and how to let the good people at NASA know that he is still there and is in need of rescuing. I was already kind of excited for the movie before reading this, and now that I have read it, I am even more excited for the movie. Like, as soon as I finished it, I wanted to go see the movie, but I had to wait a little bit. Christine, Jesse, and I are gonna see it together when we're in Atlanta this weekend, and I am so excited for all of that. This is gonna be a really good weekend. Now, it is a pretty science-heavy book, so if you like the sci part of sci-fi, then you definitely need to read this, but even if you're not a huge fan of sci-fi, it's still very easily accessible. Like, there were some moments where some of the science kind of went over my head, but it didn't really take away from my enjoyment at all. It was still really fun and thrilling and funny, and I loved this one. Then I have here Everything Everything by Nicola Yoon. I picked up this book because my TBR jar challenge for September was to read a 2015 debut novel, and I wasn't expecting a whole lot from it, but I ended up really enjoying it and just being really impressed by it. It's about a girl named Madeline who has this disease where she's basically allergic to everything, so she has to stay inside her house in this special sterile environment, and that is her life. Until a boy named Oliver moves next door, and that changes everything. Everything. As I mentioned, I wasn't really expecting to like this book as much as I did, but the reason I liked it so much is largely due to the way the romance was handled. I ended up loving the relationship. I thought it was so cute and funny, and I just got really invested in the Maddie Oliver relationship. Now, I do wish the ending was handled a little bit differently, like I could have done with some more resolution, another 5 or 10 pages, please. But overall, I thought this was a fantastic debut novel, and I'm looking forward to reading more by Nicola Yoon in the future. And finally, I have here Twilight by Stephanie Meyer. I wanted to give this a reread before meeting and interviewing Stephanie Meyer, so I picked it up, flew right through it. I can't believe Twilight is almost 10 years old. That just boggles my mind a little bit. I think I'm always gonna have a special place in my heart for Twilight because it was the book that kind of opened my eyes to YA. And now young adult books, the reading of them and the writing of them is kind of my life. It's what I love to do the most in the world when I want to be productive and not just waste time on YouTube. I don't think I'm gonna reread the rest of the series right now because there's a lot of other books I haven't read yet that I want to get to, but I really enjoyed spending some more time in this world. Alright, there you have it! Those are the books I read in September, / the books that I'm currently reading that are going to kind of carry over into October, but I'll talk about my October TBR in my next video. But that is going to be it for this video today, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, I hope you have a great night, and I will have another video up soon, so I will see you then. Goodbye!